All right, I'm going to walk you through what may very well be the single most powerful morning routine for mental clarity and physical strength. And this isn't just about coffee, stretching, or motivational affirmations. No, this is rooted in how your nervous system wakes up naturally and how you can leverage that process to set your brain and body up for optimal performance all day long. So picture this. You wake up, maybe your alarm goes off, maybe you're a natural riser. Either way, there's a moment when your eyes open and reality starts pouring back in thoughts, sounds, the feel of the sheets, the weight of the day ahead. Now, what you do in the next 30 minutes can determine whether you spend the rest of the day feeling sharp, energized, and ready to take on challenges, or foggy, sluggish, and reacting to life instead of leading it. Let's talk about how to make sure it's the former. First, light. As soon as you wake up, ideally within the first few minutes after waking, get exposure to bright light. That means opening the blinds, stepping outside, turning on the lights if it's still dark, indoors. Why? Because your circadian rhythm, that internal clock that regulates sleep, mood, energy levels, and even metabolism, relies heavily on light input through your eyes. Specifically, there are cells in your retina called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, or IPAR-GCs, that detect ambient light levels and send signals directly to your suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus. This tells your brain it's time to wake up and start producing cortisol, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters that help you become alert and focused. Without sufficient light exposure early in the day, your brain doesn't get that clear signal, and you end up stuck in a kind of sleepy limbo where motivation and focus are harder to access. So step one, light. Second, movement. Not intense exercise necessarily, but deliberate movement. Stretching, yoga, joint rotations, even walking around barefoot. The key here is to send feedback from your body to your brain. Your nervous system thrives on bidirectional communication. Your muscles, joints, and tendons have mechanoreceptors that relay information about body position, tension, and motion. When you move intentionally early in the day, especially with attention to how your body feels, you're activating neural pathways that enhance body awareness, coordination, and even cognitive function. This is also why many people report better mood and mental clarity after doing some kind of morning mobility work. Your brain gets a full body update, which helps ground you mentally and physically. And if you want to take a step further, add in some brief cold exposure, just a splash of cold water on your face or a quick cold shower for 10-20 seconds. It triggers what's called the mammalian dive reflex, which increases oxygen efficiency, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and paradoxically boosts alertness. Plus, it releases dopamine, which significantly improves mood and motivation. It might sound extreme, but once you try it a few times, you'll notice how invigorating it can be without needing caffeine or stimulants. Third, hydration. I know, it seems simple, drink water right after waking up, but the science behind it is fascinating. When you sleep, you lose water through respiration and perspiration. Most people wake up mildly dehydrated, which can impair cognitive function, reduce alertness, and slow reaction time. By drinking at least 16 ounces of water, preferably with a pinch of sea salt, you're not only replenishing fluids, but also helping regulate blood pressure, support lymphatic flow, and activate the vagus nerve, which plays a central role in modulating heart rate and digestion. A lot of people skip this step and jump straight into coffee or breakfast, but if you don't hydrate first, everything else you consume will be working against a dehydrated physiology, which dampens performance. So step 3, hydration with a little electrolyte boost. Fourth, nutrition. What you eat in the morning has a direct impact on your energy levels, hormone balance, and cognitive function for hours to come. Now, this is highly individual, but there are some general principles that apply to nearly everyone. First, aim for protein and healthy fats early in the day. Protein gives you amino acids needed for neurotransmitter production, things like dopamine and serotonin. Healthy fats support brain function and keep your cell membranes flexible and responsive. Avoid high sugar or refined carbs first thing in the morning unless you want a quick spike followed by a crash. Also consider intermittent fasting if it suits your lifestyle. There's strong evidence that delaying food intake by 1-3 hours after waking can improve metabolic flexibility, autophagy, and even neuroplasticity. But again, listen to your body. Some people perform better with an early meal. Whether you fast or eat immediately, the key is to make sure your first meal sets you up for sustained energy, not a roller coaster of insulin spikes and crashes. Step 4, nourish with intention. 5th, breath work or meditation. Yes, breathing exercises or mindfulness practices in the morning can dramatically improve mental clarity, emotional regulation, and stress resilience throughout the day. There are several tools you can use here, depending on your goals. If you want activation, try box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat for a few cycles. Or cyclic hyperventilation, a controlled pattern of rapid nasal inhales followed by passive exhalations, then a breath hold. That method boosts norepinephrine, enhances alertness, and sharpens focus. Alternatively, if you want grounding and calm, try alternate nostril breathing or simply sitting quietly and observing your breath for 5-10 minutes. These techniques lower sympathetic tone, improve heart rate variability, and promote executive function. Either way, taking just a few minutes in the morning to train your nervous system has compounding benefits over time. Step 5, breathe with purpose. 6th, sunlight. Wait, didn't we already say light exposure? Yes, but now we're talking specifically about sunlight. Getting direct sunlight exposure into your eyes without sunglasses within the first hour of waking up is crucial for setting your circadian rhythm and regulating melatonin release later in the day. That means better sleep quality, more stable mood, and improved energy during waking hours. Sunlight also stimulates vitamin D synthesis in your skin, which plays a role in immune health, bone integrity, and even brain function. So even if it's cloudy, go outside for at least 5-10 minutes. Walk around, breathe deeply, let your eyes adjust to the ambient light. Step 6, sun. 7th, intention setting. Not in a vague, new agey way, but in a practical, goal-oriented way. Take just a few minutes in the morning to define 1 or 2 priorities for the day. What matters most? What will give you the biggest return on effort? This primes your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control. It also reduces decision fatigue later in the day because you've already clarified your top priorities. Some people write these down, others just speak them out loud, others visualize completing those tasks. Whatever works best for you. Step 7, set your daily intention. 8th, gratitude practice. Again, not just for positivity's sake, but because studies show that practicing gratitude in the morning can shift your brain into a state of abundance, reducing anxiety and improving task persistence. It doesn't need to be elaborate. Just take a moment to acknowledge 3 things you're grateful for. Could be people, experiences, sensations, opportunities. The act itself rewires your brain toward a mindset of appreciation rather than scarcity. Step 8, gratitude. 9th, journaling. Putting your thoughts on paper in the morning helps organize your mind, reduce mental clutter, and increase self-awareness. You can do stream of consciousness writing, reflection on yesterday's events, or even just jot down a short plan for the day. Journaling helps externalize your internal dialogue so you're not stuck ruminating on thoughts before your brain is fully online. Step 9, write it out. 10th, avoid digital overload. This last point is critical. Avoid doom scrolling, email checking, or social media binging first thing in the morning. Why? Because your brain is in a unique window of receptivity during the first hour after waking. You're more susceptible to stress hormones and distraction. If you expose yourself to stressful news, notifications, or negative content too early, you prime your nervous system for reactivity rather than focus. Instead, protect that morning window like gold. Let your brain wake up on its own terms, then introduce stimuli gradually. Step 10, delay digital input. So putting it all together, here's the full morning stack. 1, light exposure. 2, movement. 3, Cold exposure, optional. 4. Hydration, 5. Nutrition, 6. Breath work or meditation, 7. Sunlight, 8. Intention setting, 9. Gratitude, 10. Journaling, 11. Delay digital input. Does every person need to do all 11 every day? No. But understanding each component and how they work together allows you to build a personalized ritual that supports both mental and physical performance. Now, what if you're someone who doesn't have an hour to spare in the morning? Can you still benefit from this? Absolutely. Even stacking just 3 or 4 of these elements can create profound changes in how you feel and perform throughout the day. For example, if you only have 10 minutes, get light exposure, move your body, hydrate, and take a few deep breaths. Done. That's a powerful start. Or if you prefer simplicity, just do light exposure, hydration, and a short breathwork session. That alone can reset your nervous system and put you in a much better state than rushing straight into emails or scrolling. Another important point, consistency beats intensity. Doing a moderate version of this every day is far more effective than doing an intense version once a week. Your nervous system adapts to patterns, not sporadic bursts. So find a routine that's sustainable and stick with it. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. If some days you only hit half the checklist, that's fine. The cumulative effect is what matters. I also want to address something a lot of people struggle with. Mornings can be tough. You might not always feel like doing all this. You might hit snooze or feel groggy or just want to lie in bed longer. That's normal. But here's the thing, your future self depends on the habits you build today. Every morning is an opportunity to reinforce your nervous system's ability to adapt, respond, and thrive. These tools aren't just about starting your day well, they're about building resilience, discipline, and longevity in both mind and body. They teach your brain that you're in control, that you can shape your physiology, that you can choose how you meet the day rather than letting the day dictate how you feel. So to summarize, here's what we've covered. Your morning routine is a powerful lever for shaping your entire day. It's not about doing everything perfectly, but about creating a consistent foundation that supports mental clarity and physical strength. Each element, light, movement, hydration, breath, nutrition, sunlight, intention, gratitude, journaling, and managing digital input has a specific role in optimizing brain and body function. And most importantly, these tools are based on neuroscience, not just tradition or anecdote. If you want to experiment with this, pick 1 or 2 components to start with, track how you feel, then slowly layer in more as it becomes routine. And remember, the goal isn't to chase endless productivity or burnout-proof performance. It's to live with presence, power, and peace of mind, and that begins with how you wake up. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open and the world rushes back in, take a second, smile, and begin again, because how you start determines how far you go.